Welcome back to the Urban Action Showcase virtual experience. And we are here talking about Spartan X. All right. We are joined by creators Michael Golen and
That's
Rene. That's him. And Rene Whitterstaetter. And of course, our moderator, Troy Jeffrey Allen. Troy, I'm going to hand you the reins and let you do what you do, sir. Thank you both for joining us.
All right.
Glad to be here.
Thanks for having us.
Welcome everybody to the Spartan X panel. This is, of course, a throwback for you 90s kids, right? If you are familiar, if you like me, you grew up reading comic books in the 90s, you definitely remember a title called Jackie Chan's Spartan X. Well, Rene and Michael are bringing it back, and they're actually going to complete it, and they have an Indiegogo coming up soon. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk about what exactly this book is, the history of this book, their own personal histories with the book, and where you can pick it up and where you can find it. So let's kick it off. Rene, Michael, thanks for hanging out with me.
Oh yeah, thanks, Troy.
Glad
Thanks
to be here.
Yeah.
All right, Rene, take it away. Where did it come from?
Well, let me just tell you a little bit. Spartan X is a project that Michael and I co-created. It's our creator-owned property. I first had the idea to do Spartan X in the 90s, like you said, and my inspiration was the action that I saw in a lot of Hong Kong martial arts movies. I had a very good friend, Rick Myers, who's an martial arts expert, who educated me a lot about the world of martial arts movies. And one of the things is we used to go to Chinatown in New York quite a bit and, go to the theaters that were there at the time, the Sung Sing Theater. I think most of them are gone now, but used to be like 3. And one of the movies that I really loved was Operation Condor, because I thought that Jackie on screen was just like a superhero come to life.
For sure.
Yeah. I mean, he was absolutely amazing. So I came up with the idea for doing this book, and I was an editor at Marvel Comics at the time. I should add that. Editor on the She-Hulk books, doing, editing about 7 books a month for Marvel, and being a colorist. Actually, I was an editor by day and a colorist by night. So I never slept. I don't know how I did that, but... So in one of those fever dreams, I came up with the idea for Spartan X and thought how cool it would be to have one of these actual martial artists involved in the project. So I talked to Rick about it, and he gave me some connections, and I contacted Jackie's agents in Hong Kong. And much to my surprise, within a week of that, I was on a plane to Hong Kong with meetings set up to, discuss researching this comic book. And that started a long association with Jackie. I ended up writing books about him. I ended up working on some of his movies, being thrown in as an extra behind the scenes on quite a few movies when I was in Hong Kong.
She's in the movies, guys.
Did you do your own stunts, Rene?
Oh, I tell you,
yes, she did.
My most impressive one, I think, was in Crime Story. And I was sitting on a plane between Jackie and the other actor, and I was, in the background, but very clear. And I'm wearing a black and white houndstooth dress. And I'm sitting there drinking tea and writing and drinking tea and writing. And you would think that it was such an important part, because before we filmed the scene, Jackie was over there giving me direction. So at this point, you drink some tea and then you write. And, it's like he's directing me on how to drink tea. And, it was really a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so when you see Crime Story, you will see me. I still have long hair. And
I'm going to look for you in Crime Story now. Like, I go look for your cameo appearance. Absolutely.
Cool.
So let me ask.
One of them. I'm in others too. So now I'm like Waldo.
Where's Rene? Absolutely. Hey guys, everyone watching at home, look for Rene and Jackie Chan's movies, because of course this is the perfect audience for that. Like, now they know to look out for you, and you can be like a drinking game or something like that. That would be great.
Look for her name on all those Jackie Chan movies.
Absolutely.
What, Michael?
I said, look for your name on
Mhm.
all
Oh
the
yeah.
credits.
Well, the ones in Hong Kong that I was thrown in as an extra, I'm not credited on those.
No, but the
Mm.
ones that were made in the United States, you were.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm
Yeah.
in the outtakes on a lot of the DVDs too. You'll see
Okay.
running around in my overalls, picking up apple boxes and
I love it. I love it.
all kinds of things.
So
So
who is Spartan X? Let's break that down for people at home. Like I'm sure the answer is obvious, but who is Spartan X?
well, just to finish the germination of that,
Hmm.
I did a lot of research in Hong Kong for the character, and this led to me writing a book about Jackie's movies too, called Dying for Action: The Life and Films of Jackie Chan. It was published by Warner Books and Titan
Hmm.
Books, both.
Hmm.
But then when I came home, I was pitching this as a creator-owned property at Marvel, where I worked at that time, and bringing Michael in as the artist, because I had already been talking to him about that. And Rick Myers was consulting too on a lot of the martial arts stuff. But about that time, I left and went to Tops, and we started off doing it as a creator-owned property there. And then later I packaged it and published it through Image. But there's a part of the story that we have yet to tell.
Hmm.
And the purpose of this current project is to repackage the existing material with bonus material and finish this story that so many fans have been waiting for a long time to have finished. But who is Spartan X?
Hmm.
Well, he is an adventurer. He's a hero for hire. Uh, he searches the world for, different artifacts. Like I said, he's a hero for hire instead of a mercenary for hire. He
All right.
genuinely wants to be on the side of good
You're right. Yeah. Hmm.
and moving things forward in the world instead of moving them back. And along the way, he meets, some very interesting characters, some of which are for that agenda and some of which are not. So, do you have anything else to add about who Spartan X is, Michael?
No, not at this point. You covered it. You took the words right out of my mouth.
That was
Actually,
just the encapsulated version of who he
yeah.
is. Of course, like any good character, he is multi-layered.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, actually, you know what? We talked a little bit about Renee's origin story, right? This is comics, so let's talk some more about origin stories. Michael, what is your origin story? She said she pulled you into the project, but like, how did you get involved exactly? And like, what made you say yes?
Oh, gee, I
Think
was just going to say
carefully.
I went to a party with my dad and left with my mom.
What?
Think about it
Michael.
for a second, guys.
Yeah, this is like
Uh,
a worldwide audience.
yeah. Um, well, Renee brought me in on the project simply. Well, I don't know why she brought me on the project,
I'll tell
but
you
I
later.
agreed to be part of the project because I really kind of liked the challenge that I thought this was going to be.
Hmm.
This wasn't just a fight fest comic book. This was going to be based on Jackie Chan's persona, if you will, and how he
Hmm.
projects himself throughout all of his films.
Hmm.
And the challenge there is that for 3 seconds of a Jackie Chan film, you could easily fill up an entire 24-page comic book
Yeah.
because of all the things he does within
Hmm.
that 3 seconds.
Hmm.
How do you distill it down and still, maintain the integrity of the character and the storyline? That was the challenge. And I was arrogant enough to think I was up to it. And, I leave it to everybody else as to whether I succeeded or not in what's already been done.
Yeah,
That's how I got in on it.
the reason I hired Michael, I can answer that easily, as when I was an editor, he was the one I always went to do all my covers because Michael can tell a story in one image.
Hmm.
You look at his covers, it's not just a cover, there's a story there. It makes you ask questions about what's coming next.
Hmm.
And so Michael is a fantastic artist, but he is an equally good storyteller.
I'm awesome too, by the way.
Yeah, he is. But I thought if anybody could because of course the book is inspired by Jackie Chan and a few other people. But if I thought at the time, and I was right, if anybody could take the action we saw on screen and the energy we saw on screen and somehow translate that into the dimensions of a comic book, then Michael could do it. Um, and I think he did an amazing job. I've always loved what he's done with Spartan X, and I look forward to seeing what we're going to do with the final chapter that we're working on.
Absolutely. For the people watching at home, like I'm a comic book guy. Like I am definitely a comic book fan. Rene, I've seen your cameos in She-Hulk. You know what I mean?
No,
Uh, and Michael, for those
all
of you watching,
true, all true.
it's all true. But
The
Michael,
office in the corner with the penthouse office. Yeah,
apparently you do a lot of cameos. Apparently that's your second job.
it is. The
But
elusive Rene.
But Michael, like for those who are watching at home, Michael co-created Rogue from the X-Men. He co-created the Micronaut series. He's worked on stuff like Nom and Bucky O'Hare. Like Michael definitely is a seasoned storyteller, and I've seen some of the pages from Spartan X already, and you captured the Jackie Chan action. Like there's so much anticipation of what's going to happen next in every single panel, and I can't wait for this collected edition. So actually, speaking of storytellers, what can you guys tell us about the actual story? Not just about Spartan X himself, but what is he after? What is the goal here?
Well, I don't want to reveal too much,
Of
but
course, yeah.
there is, because there's a lot that is going to happen in the last part of this book.
What, did you just ask me how this story was going to end?
I don't think he quite
Good
asked
shot,
it that
dude.
way.
Good shot.
Good
Nope,
shot. Good
that's
try.
not going to
Not going to
happen.
do it. Not going to do
Oh,
it.
just to back up, Michael's also the co-creator of Bucky O'Hare. I know you mentioned Bucky O'Hare, but
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
yeah. So about the story in Spartan X, like I said, he's a hero for hire. There is a person in the story who comes and hires him. There are forces that are happy about this and forces that are unhappy about this. He's being hired to research a mystery and seek out a certain lost object. And in the course of this, a lot is revealed. And I don't want to give away too much, but it's really exciting. Think Operation Condor, think Armor of God, think even some other, there's, like I said, this isn't based on a movie. It's not based on any one actor. But think about the flavor of the action adventure of Hong Kong cinema, the kind of cinema that Jackie pretty much spearheaded. And that's the flavor that we were going for with this.
Absolutely.
Well, there is a moral to this story. And I can just go ahead and say that without giving anything away.
Can you?
The moral to this entire story is that power corrupts.
Okay. All right.
And that's what the story is about all the way through. And that will be essentially the flavor of the ending.
Okay.
What it's all about.
All right. Yeah. Like it definitely sounds like Armor of God, Operation Condor in that vein. Not to give anything away, but I mean, the first couple of issues were released like several years ago, like 2 decades ago. The opening action sequence is Jackie Chan on a roller coaster. So just for those of you at home, like imagine Jackie Chan in a roller coaster action sequence. How insane that gets. Actually, speaking of Jackie, he's a very hands-on creator.
That was also part of the challenge, is to think up action sequences that people haven't seen before.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially from Jackie Chan.
Well, especially with Jackie Chan.
Yeah,
right.
One thing I always loved about Jackie's action is how influenced he was by Buster Keaton, who's also one of my favorites. And Jackie fully admits that, yes, Buster Keaton was his guy. And he took it, he was inspired by Buster, which even Buster Keaton's widow noticed. But Jackie put his own spin on everything, like he always does. It just made it so unique. But
how
about Jackie?
Well, I was just going to ask. Like, I know he's a very hands-on type of creator. Like, no pun intended. I mean that literally, but also figuratively, right? How involved was he in making this story? Like, was there a give and take, or you were like, this is what I'm going to do, and we're going to run with this and see what happens?
Well, like I said, Jackie was more of a consultant on the book than anything else. I went to Hong Kong to research Hong Kong action, Hong Kong film,
Mhm.
to watch him on set, to take notes. As far as the actual storyline or anything like that, he wasn't involved. That was, Rick was a consultant on that. Michael did a lot of the writing. So Jackie was not involved in that process. Being friends, I shared a lot of it with him, and he always, gave his approval about what we were doing.
Mhm.
But his main involvement at the time was we did get the rights to use his likeness on some photo covers that were
Mhm.
variant covers.
Mhm.
And like I said, he was such a source of research for me, which later led to me writing my book about his movies.
Mhm.
Because in the course of putting together Spartan X, Michael and I both sat down and watched every Jackie Chan movie in existence, and took notes, copious notes. And it was kind of hard to track down some of those movies back then.
Yeah,
And
right, right.
yeah, and Rick was very, very helpful in that regard also. And other movies too. Like I said, we did study other movies as well. But so all that research.
VHS, kids, VHS.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, it was VHS back then. I
Mhm.
Oh,
mean, those
Laserdisc
were,
too.
oh yeah, we did have some laser discs, yeah, which were now just as hard to find. Um, but so Jackie was not really involved in the story, but he was indispensable as someone that I got advice from, someone who that I could consult with if I had a question. And like I said, just letting me come to Hong Kong and research these projects.
Gotcha. Okay. So, all right. The sad part. Why was it not completed? Like, what happened? Like, and also, why are you able to do so now?
Too many shiny things.
Too many shiny
Well,
things.
what happened?
That's the bottom line,
Yeah.
is that uh, I got backed up on a bunch of stuff,
Mhm.
and Spartan X took a back seat to it.
Okay.
And
Mhm.
in this business, and particularly in my life and how I do business, it's very easy for that back seat to just remain there.
Mhm.
I always have things to do, other things that take up my time and effort. Why are we doing it now? Well, because she's putting my back against the wall to get it done.
Mhm.
And I don't blame her. It's, I've been talking about it. I want to see it done too. Um, and I've been talking about it for just way too long. And so now's the time to do it, especially since the market and the industry has changed in the way
Mhm.
that it has in the
Mhm.
past 5-10 years. Um, Independent work, things not attached to big corporations or to big IPs, have just as much a chance of establishing a readership, a fan base, and hence a license and IP of its own.
Yeah.
And so now's the time to do it.
Well,
And we got other things. I've got other shiny things that are waiting for me. So I need to get this done.
well, I can add to what Michael said. He's absolutely right. I mean, some of those things that happened when we were working on Spartan X is that he became senior art director at Marvel Comics
Mhm.
after we had already started the project, and his time was very taken up with that job.
Mhm.
And at the same time, exactly the same time almost, I left Topps Comics and went to California and worked in film production for 5 years straight.
Mhm.
Working on, with Jackie Chan, and worked with Brett Ratner a lot on some films,
Mhm.
and, Red Dragon, a bunch of other movies.
Mhm.
And that, if anyone that's worked on film production out there, that once you get into that, it's like a black hole of time. And then one day you wake up and say, what happened to the last 5 years?
Yeah,
Yeah,
isn't that
because
the
you're
truth?
working constantly. And I started my own publishing company, Eva Inc. Publishing.
Mhm.
Michael had projects he was working on. So, it was just a perfect storm of things. And that perfect storm has now brought us back to the point, feel like it's time that we need to tell this story. And we want to finish it. We want to do, an artist edition trade paperback. We get requests from people all the time to finish the story. So now we're going to do it. And we are going to use it as a jumping off point for some of the projects that we have coming.
The other
Because-
shiny things.
Yeah,
Okay.
this is not the only thing in the pipeline. This is just a story that we want to complete. And then we have new stories lined up with that we think the fans are really, really going to love and
All right.
have potential for animation and toys and all kinds of cool stuff. But Spartan X really was my baby. And I pulled Michael in and we collaborated on it. And it's a lot of time has passed since that. Michael and I have collaborated on everything since then. I think we have changed as people since we started this project. We've learned, we have new input that we can put into the story. So it's going to be interesting to have it finished and have it out there in a volume that people can look at and enjoy. Michael hasn't grown as a person, no?
Nah. Nah.
I feel older and wiser.
Oh, I am older and wiser in so many ways. Talking sarcasm here.
So what can
that's why we're doing the Indiegogo, because you can sign up now to be on our mailing list, and then when we launch the project, which won't be too long from now, you'll be on the ground floor to get specials and incentives for being, on that first mailing list.
No, perfect, perfect. Actually, speaking of the Indiegogo, what can readers expect from the collected edition? Like, I know the original comic had all these cool little supplemental bits in the back that showed like Michael's process. Can we expect stuff like that and more?
Yeah. Yes, we're going to reprint, of course, those process pieces, but we have new ones, and we have scripts and script notes that we're going to publish with it. There are drawings.
They will be appropriately edited.
Yes. And well, since I'm the editor, of course.
Of course.
And and also photographs. We're going to include photographs, archival photographs from the history of the project, and also sketches and character designs that we have not printed yet. There'll be a lot of bonus material and new pages by Michael, of course. So
Absolutely, absolutely. And like, yeah, they said 24 plus pages, right? Is this going to be, are we expecting like the final issue's length, or is this going to be like a maxi final issue?
well, it's all going to be together. It's probably going to be a maxi final issue
Okay.
if we do it the way that Michael is talking about.
Oh yeah, that okay. Now I understand your question. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
final issue that's
Okay.
been sitting here,
Okay.
waiting to be done.
Yeah.
Okay.
There was an end. Once we decided that it was going to be a limited series and or a graphic novel, the whole project took on that context, that there was a beginning, middle, and an end. There will be an end. Everybody dies.
No, they don't. And then the Infinity Gauntlet brings them back.
So who is this book? Who would you say is the ideal audience for this book?
Oh, everyone.
Everyone? Okay.
Yeah, everyone. This is Jackie Chan was the inspiration for this project, and the project holds true to the fact that, as far as I know, or as far as I've ever seen, other than his American movies, Jackie Chan's movies and stories were for everybody. Even the grittier ones like the Police Story and Project A, it's like, a little kid would just love the heck out of them.
Oh, yeah,
regardless.
sure.
When he drives through the village downhill and blows up all the buildings. I mean, little kids love that kind of stuff,
Yeah. Oh yeah. And that's our goal. That's Michael. That's our goal with all of our projects, really, is to have them be accessible to everyone, and be entertaining for everyone. We don't want to exclude any age group or any segment of the population. We want to create entertainment
that's what it's all about.
Entertainment that makes people happy. And so that's what
Well, maybe not make people happy, but it will be entertainment. I want it to be entertaining. I want people to take away the thought that they just enjoyed, that read, whatever it was. Just
That's what
like in a movie, when you walk out, are you like, violently depressed, or or are you, wow, that was a good film. I enjoyed the film,
So for the
Um,
Indiegogo guys, we are going to have incentives. We're going to have different points where if you join, it will add to the project, and you'll have incentives that come with each one. If we get enough money, I'll put some of my own blood into the ink. I don't know. But
Hey, it's a selling point.
yeah,
oh, I won't tell you
no,
what I'll put in there.
no,
Oh
I'm
boy.
kidding. The thing we already have with this project. It really is really a project close to my heart. And I guess that's what I meant by that. We spent a lot of time putting it together, and it was always our intention to bring it back in this form. And like Michael said, it's a better time now. I mean, what better time than now? So that's what we want to do, and then use it from there. Have it be our first project, and then as soon as this one's done, we will start debuting some of our other projects.
Awesome. That's perfect. Actually, when is the Indiegogo dropping? Currently, I Google and it says coming soon. So, and I see that the page is up, but and I should point out that people can sign up now to get updates about it to find out when it does drop. But for the people watching right now, when can they expect it to go live?
Sure. Well, what we're trying to do right now is build our mailing list. So if you do go and sign up for the Indiegogo, you will get a link to a special piece of art that is only available to the people that sign up for the Indiegogo mailing list.
Hmm.
Then by the spring, most likely March, we are going to launch the whole project, where we'll start getting backers and reveal to you what the incentives are, and all the fun things that we're going to do.
All right, perfect, awesome, awesome. So for everybody watching at home, Spartan X, this is the popular action adventure. It will be compiled into one volume for the first time with 24 plus new pages and a load of bonus material. Michael Golen, co-creator of Rogue and the X-Men, joins Spartan X co-creator Rene Whitterstaetter for this love letter to comics and action films. And my favorite part of the pitch is kick-ass, but all ages friendly. So
All ages kick ass.
all ages kick ass. There you go. Guys, thank you very much for joining me. I appreciate you sitting down and talking to
Happy to
me.
be here.
Thank
Talking
you.
talking comics and kung fu movies. I appreciate it very much.
Oh, anytime. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I just want to add, for the fans, we do have the Spartan X 3D VR experience. We'll give you a little sneak peek. We're going to make some tweaks to it, but we'll give you a little sneak peek at it right now. But you can access it on the website. All right. So you come out here and you check out Spartan X in VR and in 3D. You can actually read the full first episode. All right. In VR, as you can see, and check out some of those notes that they were talking about here on the wall. And if you have an Oculus headset, Oculus Quest or Oculus Quest 2, you pull this up on your browser and then you click the goggles in the lower right-hand corner, which will put you in what we call full immersive mode, where you will see that these drawings and all of these panels are about 30 feet high. You can also watch the Indiegogo trailer here. And once you click, if you click on any panel in here will take you to the Indiegogo campampagn. So
Wait,
you
Demetrius,
guys,
are you screen sharing?
yeah, is it coming up yet?
No, it's not coming up.
Oh, well, y'all just listen to me talk. Okay. Well,
Oh, I
now,
thought you just wanted
yeah.
to see our beautiful faces.
no,
There
I'm
we
over
go.
here. I'm on the other screen thinking I'm doing something, but now I'll do it again for you.
Oh, yeah. It's impressive.
I'll do it again. All right, here we go. Once again, you can check out the VR 3D gamification presentation of Spartan X here, and check out some of those notes and drawing notes and inks and stuff that they were talking about. You can watch the video here for the Indiegogo campaign. All of the activations, if you click it and then click link, will actually take you to support that Indiegogo campaign. And then you can actually read the, I believe this is issue 1 here, by just clicking link, and it will take you through every single panel of the issue in VR/3D gamification. And it's a whole new experience. Like I said, if you have an Oculus Quest 2, these ceilings are a good 30 feet high, so you'll really enjoy it. But
Wow.
I want to thank you guys for allowing us to show the fans this early, and for coming on and speaking with us and being what we call being a part of the action. Being that we as a platform celebrate diversity and the multicultural achievements, specifically in the blockbuster action genre, this was a perfect opportunity for us. So thank you all again for your time and for all you've done for comics, period. You know, like you mentioned,
Happy to do so.
She-Hulk and of course Marvel. We really appreciate it as fans here. So everybody, we want you guys to stay safe. Coming up at 8 o'clock, we got Big Trouble in Little China 35th anniversary watch party. You guys want to be a part of that? Just get your free pass in the link below. Once again, everybody, you guys stay safe, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you,
Adios.
everybody. Thank you.